Welcome. This is another After Dark conversation with Mark and Flo. Say hey, Flo.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, what's going on? Wow, it's all right. I'm gonna date this one. This is October the 5th, 2022. I want to date it because I want to give a little bit of context to this conversation. I'll be quite honest. I am sad right now. As you know, part of the catalyst for us making these videos is the book that I am currently developing and researching, The Dating Game, Rewriting the Rules so that you can win. But it's been in the news here the last couple of days. Multiple very high profile, what would consider to be storybook ideal marriages, couples have filed for divorce publicly. You've had Tom Brady and his wife getting divorce lawyers. Of course, you had the coach for the Boston Celtics and coming out getting exposed, and Neil Long and him breaking up after a long period of time being together. And then you have, of course, had the twin from the Sister show,
Tia
Tia Tia
and Corey.
Mowry and Corey Hardwick. After 14 years. She filed for divorce, and everybody's talking about who's at fault, who's to blame. um I'll just be honest. My perspective, my conversation is one. Honestly, I'm just kind of sad. um as somebody who's been through a divorce, I've been married and divorced before. I again, I have no stones to throw. Like I'm just sad because seems like, right, the more I'm wanting to try to push for us to have healthy, strong relationships, it just seems like um the battle against family and marriages and relationships staying together, it just seems like even the best looking couples, the ones that you would think have everything going for them, just can't seem to keep them together. Babe, how does this make you feel?
I definitely agree with you. It's very disheartening, but I think a lot of this has been going on for a while. We have our peaks where it seems like relationships are in harmony, and then we have where all of a sudden it's like a breakout of divorces and breakups. Um, again, a lot goes on with just life, and again, Mark and I talk a lot, and I think a lot of it just plays on the different mindsets of men and women, and what we expect, what we want, what we see, because a point that Mark and I were speaking on, especially talking about what's the football player?
Which
Tom Brady
Tom Brady, yeah.
and his wife. And I was explaining to Mark about a friend of mine and her husband, Tom Brady and his wife. Um, again, this is people sharing resource
Tom
wise.
Brady and his wife are not her friends.
No, they're not. I have separate friends, and I was explaining to him a separate friend of mine and her husband. Husband kind of backstory. So with Tom Brady, they were stating that him and his wife, for a time, she knew what he did, but once he decided to
Everybody knew what Tom Brady did.
retire, there was probably um an agreement between him and his wife, knowing, look, you're going to retire. Now, this gives us time together to build our relationship, to build our family. We have children, and just, bring our dynamics of what relationship is back to our families. Because probably, again, when you're dealing with high profile people like himself, you think the traveling, not constantly being home, her really feeling like a single mom but supporting her man. And I was explaining to Mark, my friend, with her husband, same thing. He was a part of the military, and she knew this in the beginning. But there was an agreement that came between them because, again, he was only going to do a certain amount of time. And once that time was up, they talked about them now again being able to come together and build themselves as a couple and as a family. But the same, Tom Brady comes back and he now comes off of retirement. And they feel like that's why his wife asked for the divorce because it felt like, and like I was telling Mark with my friend and her husband, it feels like you and I.
We'll edit that out. Go ahead, baby.
Okay. It feels like you and I, in the beginning had an agreement. We talked about it. And, these were the things that were supposed to happen.
Hey, don't worry. We'll edit that. We'll edit that.
Um,
People like bloopers anyway.
but when it comes time to now, come back to the reality of family and us, again, I get it. You're used to playing football. My friend's husband used to being in the military. So when you come back, I guess, to their reality, sometimes it's hard to get back into that reality because, again, it's like a passion or purpose that you have. So understandable, hands down. But if there's an agreement and we've talked about this, and I say to you, look, I don't mind supporting you, at this point. But once we get to this next chapter in our lives, this is what I expect to see. Now you're coming off of the road of football. Now you're coming off of the military. So now we need to focus on us. But you get that itch again, and you're like, well, I know I said one thing, but sorry, like I have to get back out there. Again, Tom Brady decided to come back. My friend's husband decided to go back into the military, and it brought on a lot of discrepancies. And they feel that, or the social media, or those that are reporting with Tom Brady, is that she got upset and was just like, well, I'm asking for a divorce because, again, I supported you and I stood behind you, and probably an agreement we have. Now you come off of this and you decide to go against what you and I, had an agreement with. And I was telling him the same with my friend and her husband. It was like, you go back in, there really is no us. Because again, it puts, I believe, us back to point A. So it's bad enough we haven't really got time and time to build us and focus on us. And so much time has been gone. And now, when it's time for us to try to do that, and you do that again, where does that leave us? Where does that put us? And so I was telling Mark, there are other things that you would hope when you come back, other purposes that you can tap into besides feeling like, oh, okay, well, I just have to go back into football or I just have to go back into the military. What are other things that you can tap into here so that we can come together? We can build and now focus on us as a couple and us as a family. We can really start spending that time, because a lot of the times when you have a certain amounts of time, where you're not spending that time or whatever, and that person comes back, it's like you're getting to learn them all over again.
Which could be quite interesting. Uh, Either way, I guess for me, there's a couple of questions that come to my mind as I listen. And we kind of talked about, for a man of purpose, um, a man who's devoted his life to something, and is ambitious, has a desire to achieve great things. The amount of investment and responsibility and dedication that takes oftentimes doesn't leave a man a lot of time to develop, um, I guess, the relationship skills that most women desire to have in a relationship with a man. And I'm wondering, is that the part of the trade-off for men who are ultra successful or ultra disciplined or focused about their purpose, to where, I mean, just listen to you, and I said it like, it sounds like for men like that, it's better for them not to even be in committed relationships, because if you're on your purpose, And even if you do want to retire, but you still have something left in the tank, and you want to continue to pursue it, you don't want to be in a position where you have to answer to an ultimatum to choose your purpose or the life and family that you've built and supported and cared for with your purpose, and now you feel like I have to turn myself off to make my woman happy.
So then
And
what do you say to her then? What do you say to her? What is it that it looks like to her? What is she supposed to do?
this is again, this is a question. Calm down a little bit. um what you say to her? I'm not trying
Again, I'm,
but, but I'm not
that
trying
was a
to I'm
question.
not trying to tell her, but the way you ask it, baby, I'll tell you, I'm kind of scared of you. Don't raise your voice at me. um I don't like this shit. uh it's as a question for her. I would ask, how good was the communication in establishing the understanding? Because I mean, again, you take Tom Brady and Giselle Bundchen, both of them uber wealthy by their own. So like, it's they don't have money problems. So they're they're in such a rarefied situation. It's hard to kind of relate it to most of us, but just in principle, they've been together for a number of years, couple of kids, gone through career. Where was the breakdown in their communication to where they got all the way to this point, and now it's bam, it's an ultimatum, quit or divorce?
And I told him it
What no,
it
but I'm
probably was
asking.
it. This was probably in the beginning when after they had the conversation,
Hmm.
and he said he was going to retire. That was the agreement. Now you come back and you change your mind, but you knew going into this, when you change your mind, you
Right.
knew that this was probably going to happen. Because again, we had an agreement. We talked about this. And so I told Mark, it doesn't mean that these people have to be by themselves. Now, you get some people who will choose to be by themselves until they get out whatever it is, because they know bringing somebody in that may be too rigorous of a lifestyle. So sometimes you will find people who are like, yes, I prefer to be by myself, because I know bringing somebody into this lifestyle, it's not, again, it's not for the faint of heart. But those then who choose to may have to find somebody, like I told him, that's equally yoked, as far as she may not do the same thing, but let's say she travels, let's say she works in different dynamics, different places. So someone like you that kind of has the work ethic and does, some of the things that you do, would understand more. That person is going to get it more, because they're like, oh yeah, I get it. That don't bother me. I'm doing that too. But when you get somebody that's different, like I was saying, my friend and her husband, again, this was a conversation that they had at the very beginning. So again, he was not blindsided or given any ultimatum. He knew this going in. So when he decided to re-enlist, he knew
It was gonna
what
cost
the
him his whole
consequences
marriage.
was. Most
So
That's
so
the
so
conversation that they had in the
so let me
beginning.
ask you, what was it about his marriage that when he looked at it and had to make a decision, he says, look, I've been in the military. There's a bond, a camaraderie I have. It's a purpose I have. It's a calling. I love it. I enjoy it. I'm putting my life on the line to serve my country. Whatever motivation, reason he has to re-enlist at that point. And then he looks on the other side, or I can make my wife happy, keep my family together. Why do you think he chose to re-enlist with those two options on the table?
Because, like he told her, he missed it. He was itching for it, and he wanted to get back out. He heard what she had to say, and he know that there was a promise that he made, but he was breaking that promise because he just felt that he wanted to go back. It was just something that he loved, but he knew that it could cost him. And he shared that. I know that it could cost me because, again, when we talked in the beginning, I said, after this time, I'm going, I'm going to retire. I'm going to get out of the military. But I thank you in the beginning for sacrificing all that you sacrificed. So, okay, I will sacrifice for you. But our agreement in the beginning, because again, like I told Mark, then that gives the other person the opportunity to make the decision whether to continue, not continue on in this relationship, but choose to be with you, right? When you meet somebody, and if they're giving you and they're telling you this, and you say, well, you know what, the military is my thing, it's just something that I want to be and do for a while, right? That then gives her the option to say, well, you know what, I don't mind being a military wife and continuing on knowing that this is something new. Or, you know what, because like I told him, I've told somebody before, that's not me. I need somebody who's going to be there, not somebody who is constantly traveling or going to be away and there's long amounts of times that we're not together. Then I'm not the girl for you. So that gives the person the opportunity to make the choice on whether to be. But then if we're talking as we're getting to know each other and building our relationship, and we come to that compromise, hey, no worries. After this time, I'll be out. I just need you to have my back at from this time to this time. And once this time comes, we're back together. We'll be back rebuilding. We'll be back where I'm there. I'm focusing on us. But then that time comes, and you get bored or you just miss it, and it's just different because now when you get home, like I thought about Tom Brady and my friend's husband, life doesn't may it may not look the same. So they may feel bored, or they may feel like, well, I don't know what else is out there for me to do. That's all I know. So now I'm itching to go back. Well, now the person that
You
you
gotta
have that
sit your ass
agreement with
down.
it.
You better sit your ass down and stay on that couch.
No, it's not about staying on the couch. Like I said, there are other purposes that you may have
But you better not
besides.
run your ass back out on that football field, or else it's over, Tom Brady.
Well, again, if we've talked about and you knew this coming in, then it shouldn't be no surprise if you pull that.
Feels like a power struggle. It does. And I'll just, as a man, all of this shit feels very uncomfortable. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Um, it's like the same things that men are praised and get accolades and are celebrated for, the exact same things that will cost you everything.
So that's why I asked you, then what would you say to the other person on the other end?
I think the first thing I would ask is, do you understand the kind of man that you are getting involved with?
Right, but let's say that's already established. We established that from the beginning. We're talking about the two who we know. It seems like both had an agreement from the beginning. So now this person is done, right? They say they're done, and now they're going to focus on their family. But then that person comes back and decides, you know what? Me just being at home and just certain things is
How
not
did
for
how
me.
did that feel? Like having somebody look at, look, I know we've been together, got family, and I know you want me to choose you, but my purpose is too big. I love my purpose more than I love, or it just, the choice is, if I got to choose you or my purpose and destiny, I got to choose my purpose and destiny. How does that feel?
Again, for somebody that's in it, it hurts because that's not the conversation we have. But people got to do what they want to do. So that's your choice. Then that's your choice.
But back to the question, what would I say to her? Or again, if I were talking to my daughter, one of my daughters, um, do you truly understand the man that you are getting into a relationship with? Because again, depending on where they're at in their life, how developed they are, people do change. And from one season to another, um, values, understandings, priorities can shift. And and this is why again, I be encouraged, y'all. I'm still working on the book, The Dating Game, to help people win. But honestly, at this very moment, when I'm looking at all these public divorces, I mean, it just seems like Flo says, why even get in fucking relationships? Like, why get married? If you're a man right now and you're looking at what's going on, and you have any desire to grow yourself, to build something, to be, ambitious, and you look at marriage and the risk that's involved, I understand why so many men like, nah, I'm good, no thanks. I get it, because
The risk from what women don't have risk?
no, I'm just speaking from a man's point of view. Women obviously have risk too. I know I gotta talk to both sides. She always gets on at but I'm just speaking as a man, looking at the scenarios that we see unfolding. I'm talking about. I ain't talking about the guys like me who ain't got much to lose. I'm talking about guys who are successful in whatever endeavor they're doing. They've built themselves up, and they've wanted to be able to provide well for their family.
Some. Hmm.
Oh, so you just gonna point out the men who what they don't want to provide for their
No, no,
family?
no. Everybody wants to provide, but again, when you talk about some men being provided and it's hard for them and be very careful. Again, are those men good men? Are those men making the right choices? Are those men, even with the status that they have, doing what they're supposed to do as a man? Also,
And this is one of the challenges too, because financial and professional success are not indicators of moral rightness. You can get stupid rich and wealthy in this world and be absolutely corrupt to your core. So, yes, monetary and status success does not, quote unquote, make a person good. Not saying that. But by the way we judge society, the standards that we use by, we always look at people that are put up on pedestals. So if we were to step back and look at somebody, and again, since we're talking about Tom Brady, would probably be a, across the board somebody that people would look up to. Men would say, I would like to be like Tom Brady, is successful and one of the best in my field. And women would look at Tom Brady and be like, yeah, I want the star quarterback who's handsome and rich and the top of his game. I mean, again, I know he's not everybody's, but you understand what I'm saying.
mm,
Do you, or are you making that face because what I'm saying sounds stupid to you?
I'm making that face because everybody don't want Tom Brady.
Okay, I know. Though I mean,
I
babe, you understand. There's nothing all, no everything. You
let me
understand the principle, the concept I'm trying to.
let me say this, people. Do not be discouraged. Don't. Again, social media at its finest, when you think about relationships, when you think about family, when you think about friendships, technology, social media, different things can destroy a lot of people's hope, a lot of people's dreams, um, just the way that they're feeling. And I always say, the devil always lurks again. And I just feel like when we get back to back, stories like this, or of people, in your family or people that um, I always feel like that's that test. That's a test. So
It's only a test.
with these tests, again, we know that there are couples out there that truly are dynamic,
Yeah,
that they're
there's some good.
truly loving one another. And they're
Y'all are just
probably
not trending right now. Y'all are not in
right.
the. Y'all are not trending. What's trending is divorce right now. And
Um,
a lot of people are like, it's almost like that one chick talking about T and her. soon to be ex-husband, like she swears to God he has to be cheating because the way she said it, and it's like people have their own agendas and traumas that they're projecting onto these high profile situations. And I think we have to be very sensitive and cautious to language patterns. And we were talking about this morning, how we even conversate about things. The way we start off conversations a lot of time indicates the type of outcome that we're actually looking for. And if we're not careful how we choose our words, sometimes we can set a tone for a conversation that's not even our real intent if we're not aware of it. And I wish we could be more thoughtful in what's, well, I'm not gonna say, because again, you people have the freedom to put out whatever they want to a certain degree, as long as it doesn't violate the policies and standards, and you don't do certain things to offend or, break rules like that. But people can put out whatever kind of content they want, and a lot of, for some reason, there's something about us that we're drawn to drama, negativity, and the shit that seems to make us like spiritually and mentally and emotionally sick. I mean, I don't think it's any coincidence that the advent and rise of the use of the internet and social media has also coincided with a huge spike in awareness of mental health challenges and issues. Like, I think there is a correlation. I'm not a scientist, don't quote me on that. I'm just saying the trends parallel. And I think all the issues that we're seeing, honestly, I think these are just issues that have always been around, but now because we're able to broadcast everything all the
Oh yeah,
time,
it's
that
more
we
seen.
hone in and focus on the percentage of negativity. I think that's because it's just hardwired into our brain for survival for some
Which
reason.
I told him is sad. That's why I try not to watch the news. I try not to watch even some
Well,
of
they
the
just be
stuff
lying on the news. That's why
that
we don't watch the
he
news. They
that
be lying.
that he watches, because exactly, you are what you put into your mind and your body. So when you are constantly following drama, looking at drama, worried about toxic
You
things,
are what you eat.
then that's what your life will be. And that's why it goes back to one of the videos where we talked about the people you surround, your village. What does it look like? What do you guys do? Because sometimes, again, society doesn't go anywhere, but you can close society out as much as possible to keep the harmony that you have within your village. So again, because he's writing this book, that's probably why he's watching some of this stuff. But some of the
It is. It's
times I'm
depressing.
on my phone and I'm not even paying
Should be
attention
playing a little bubble
because
games.
I don't have the time or patience, right? To sit and just feed
No, no, no,
into
no, no, no.
um just the sad, because it's like it's heavy and it weighs heavy. And I think for some people it determines relationships and friendships and family, and just goes through so many things, and it's in many cases to me not worth it. So it's like, try, and even though, like you said, those healthy, special, beautiful couples, they don't trend,
Come out. Please
but
come out. Talk to the
but
people. Share your stories.
go and find them too, because I told him on Facebook I have found these couples. It was three couples, beautiful couples, and they do, like this, where they sit around and they talk, but they play games, they ask questions, and I thought it
We're
was
gonna play
just
some games
so
and talk
cool.
about it.
And again, they were slowly but surely trying to build their
We're
followers,
gonna play some other
but
games that we're not gonna talk about.
I was happy that they were doing it, regardless
She's
of what
strong
people
too.
thought. They were, they still continue to do it, and that's what we need. People in couples that no matter what, no matter how many likes you get, no matter how much, and that's why Mark and I decided to do these videos too.
Oh.
We don't have to get all these likes.
I mean, I want them.
It's
It
about
helps the algorithm. We're trying to grow this channel. Look, I got to get to at least 1,000 subscribers. This is a brand new channel. Don't nobody know us yet. So come on, share the video, like, subscribe, make comments. help us get boosted up in the algorithm so we can help more people. And make a donation. Y'all see it scrolling down the screen there. Mr. M. Scott 76 at gmail.com. Support the ministry. The Lord told you support the ministry. Why? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still depressed, but
And those of you who don't want to look or be a part, you don't have to be.
who you talking about?
Okay. So you don't have to be, you don't have
Okay.
to watch.
But you can share the video
You
still.
don't have to, be a part of this world. So again, this is for people
Make a donation. You see,
that
Mr. Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
make the
just
donation.
listen, be a part, but again, feed into our cups, and talk to us just like we don't mind.
We don't
Talking
have
to
any
you.
haters or trolls yet. So please, I want some. That'll help the ratings go up. To help the algorithms.
I don't.
I need some haters.
I don't.
I mean, I'm not really. I'm just being facetious, but controversy does sell. But I'm honestly, I'm a little. It's. I was discouraged. Like I since yesterday, was having some technical issues, uh, but just all the divorces that are coming out now, and there's no coincidence that things trend and come out in waves.
They do, and that's what I
It's
was telling
what is
him.
it doing to us as a community? Like,
It's doing what you let it do. That's why I said you can't. You kind of have
is it all
to.
men's fault though?
No, it's not all men's fault.
Because when I listen to a lot of ladies talk, and even you sometimes, I, as a man, feel like, damn, everything is on men fucking up.
So he says that because of as he's going through watching his shows, but every dude that he watches on his podcast has something to say about the ladies, and he just for some reason
They're
does
talking about
not
relationships.
does
How
not
could
see
any
that.
man talk about relationships and not talk about women? I
Again,
don't
because
understand
how
that.
they're talking about women, just like you feel like
You feel
what
like
you
they be
hear,
coming for the women,
most
and you
definitely.
gonna stand up for the women. You got your sisters back. 100 grand.
Hundredfold. Again,
She got your back, ladies.
nobody's perfect, and I tell him that all
I
the
love
time.
y'all.
Men and women, nobody's perfect. So let's get that right. There are some trifling men and there are some trifling females. So they're in their own category. But there are good people, men and women, that are truly trying to do something different. But yes, like he said, because of what he watches, of course, the things he's watching the female. So of course he knows what that's going to look like, especially with some. But he's watched some videos where women really are going off on other women and telling them about their attitudes, why they don't have a man, how to act so you can get a man. So he's seen those females. And
Mhm.
again, vice versa, when he watches some of the guys, those guys are coming for us women. And I feel a certain kind of way. But then there are some of the guys that he does have that will, speak up and say, man, hey, you're in the situation because of how you're acting, how you're treating the woman, cheating, and all of that. So
Because the
again, it
ladies
goes
don't
across
ever
the
come for
board.
the guys. It's just guys that come for women.
No, the ladies, some ladies do come for the guys. Like I said,
Who
it's
who does it?
both.
Who does it more?
I don't know. It's both.
Who cheats more?
I said men. That doesn't change. My answer does not change with that.
Cognitive biases. Clearly.
Just like you feel that more women cheat. So
No, no, I
again,
didn't. No, I didn't say that. I
so who
said
cheat? Who cheats more?
I think we cheat the same. Because when a man's cheating, he's usually doing it with a woman, or when a woman's cheating, she's usually doing it with a man. Some people do it same sex, but cheating is wrong. Either way, but I know because of her loyalty and fervor for the sisterhood
No,
code.
that's not why. It's a known. Go
Where's
ahead.
the
Go.
where's the data,
I'm gonna have him.
facts and
I'm gonna
statistics?
have him look up the data, facts, and statistics, and then the
No, no,
next time. No,
no.
no, no.
You
The
look it
next
up. Don't
no.
ask
The
me.
next time
You
we
look it up.
come, he'll have those facts for you.
If she brings them, because I ain't researching shit on that.
Okay.
I just have my beliefs like she has hers. And honestly, like I say, when you talked about surveys and data, you said people be lying on them surveys too, don't they?
I do.
So
That's
what
fact.
makes you think that if men or women were taking the survey that women would be more obvious than or honest on it than men
Like I
would?
told him, a lot of guys that I talk to now, from students and different guys that I've
Well, I'm
seen or
about to
been
say, who,
around, not like
how
that,
many niggas you talking to? You
but
supposed,
many of these
why my
men,
woman talking to all these men?
many of these men are cheating.
That's some bullshit.
And that's what they're saying. I've even had to step into conversations.
Should I be nervous? My woman is talking to all these cheating ass
Not
men.
okay.
Okay.
But I've even had to say again, you men do not want women to have this image. But you're standing right here, and many of you are falling into that category that men cheat.
So would it be that maybe, and this is just maybe, when it comes to the question of cheating coming up, men are just willing to be more honest about their discretions than women are willing to be honest about theirs?
I still believe more men cheat.
That wasn't the question I asked you. Answer the question, please.
No, not all women are. Women get caught too. Again,
That was, if a woman is asked a direct question, have you ever cheated? Do you think 100% of the women would be completely truthful in how they
no.
answered that
There will
question?
some who will be and some who won't. Just like with men, there are some men who are going to be like, "Yep, I did. Let me be honest," and some men are going to be like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Of course I don't. Black men don't cheat."
Mm. But when you talk to these guys, they just freely admit to you that they cheat.
No, they were talking amongst themselves and it came out. And then sometimes, as you know, when you get men and they ooh and that
Then
that build up, then it gets the other one to be like, well, man, yeah, I kind of have my own little discrepancies, and so now amongst the circle,
so so
all
so so
these,
so let me get this straight. It's like a circle of men, kind of like they at the barber shop, chit
mm,
chatting amongst themselves,
mm.
and they talking about how they be cheating.
Well, they were having a conversation on one of their weekends, and one of their weekends kind of came out that it was not with his girlfriend. It was with somebody else. And then somebody kind of proceeded behind him, was like, yeah, man, like I get it. I haven't said everything that I was supposed to say. I done did certain things. And again, sometimes in conversations, men and women conversations, sometimes it kind of brings that dynamic out. So kind of like each person, not all, but each person is now starting to kind of share, you know, their own what's been going on.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, it becomes and again, I'm just that type of person. Like I said, I'm a people person and I talk, but I'm so big on certain things. So when they see me coming, they be like, oh Lord, here comes love. Because again, then they
So,
know
so when they see you
I'm
coming
going to start
in their conversation
questioning.
about their discrepancies and their cheating, they see you coming and they invite you in and say, "Flo, come here."
No, they'll be speaking. Hey, how's it going? I'll be hey,
And
and then
then they just holler out, "We be cheating, huh, Flo?"
no, I'll say, oh, I heard you coming down the thing.
So
So
they was yelling loud enough for you to
were they
hear
speaking loud
down
enough?
the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we be cheating. Yeah,
No,
bro, me too, man. You know what? I be cheating too.
not like that.
I mean, I'm just
But
saying the way
again,
you
there's
described it, because for you to be coming down the hall and to hear,
meaning as I'm getting
yeah, bro.
close to them, I can hear them.
You
I
had to
can
be,
hear them.
pretty goddamn close.
Again, I could hear them. So
And they're very comfortable with you to just, yeah, we be cheating on our women.
no, I again call one out. Oh, I heard you say A, B, C, and D. Really? That's what we doing? And then sometimes one will be like, oh, well, such and such was over here, like they telling on themselves about other people. And I'm like, what?
I'm
But
just,
again, they hear me talk to students and others when we're talking about relationships, so they know where I stand on a lot of different things.
I'm just when I was doing my dirt, I was never talking about it out in public,
That's
out
you,
loud with
right?
people. And
That's
and
you.
I'm just trying to put myself in the mind frame of a group of guys. And I'm assuming this was at work.
But hey, I'm not trying to get into all of that.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
well, you coming from down the hall, either
Again,
at a place.
I don't know.
Uh,
Again,
I mean, I'm just saying the mentality that just doesn't seem smart. It's just not. I just can't connect with somebody who's going to broadcast. If I'm talking about, and that is the subject matter, and I'm giving my point of view, I'm still not going to do it loud enough for somebody to hear that shit walking down the hall coming.
again, I'm walking up, like I'm walking past them. They're kind of standing in a little circle, and I'm walking past them. And as I'm walking past them, I get
Fellas,
to
somebody give me the visual on how this conversation is happening in your head and see if I'm not tripping. So you're walking
I'm
past
not gonna
them.
go through all of it, but again, I know I heard what I heard,
Okay.
so I decided to.
And that's why you believe men cheat more than women.
No, that's that not just because of that one, just because again, when I'm listening and seeing people constantly, and I deal with many people every day, plus I have a quad of different people from different walks of life and world that I
She
know of.
she's a hub. She deals with
Um,
everybody. She's be saving people's lives, helping people
again,
get educated. Like she
that
does a lot of stuff.
that is the
She's got a cape.
gist of it.
She's got a cape. Super
You
flow.
know it. So through the conversations
Whip
and
it.
through things that go on, you just hear more of a lot of women that have been struggling
I'm
with
so sheltered.
cheating.
I'm so sheltered. 'Cause thank God women don't cheat.
I didn't say that.
Oh, these bad men.
Again, I did not say women cheat. You asked me who cheats more, men or women, and I said men. That does not mean that women do not cheat. That's not what I'm saying. You asked a question and I answered it.
So is that why women file for divorce more often?
Why? Because their man cheated?
Or for whatever reason?
Yeah,
Because men are much more likely to try to stay in a relationship and work it out.
agree.
So
But it's like I told you, if somebody cheats, right, and you're trying to work it out, it's just very difficult to come back from that.
absolutely.
Because again, that other person who is the victim has to figure out how to now change their entire mindset to trust, to believe what that other person is saying, to love that person again, right? All of that is gone. So now I'm having to figure out how to rebuild that. So every time you leave this house, I have to believe and trust in what you say. Every time you're on your phone or something is happening, I have to believe and trust in what you say. Now I'm having to rebuild the love. So the love and things we used to do, we used to talk about, we used to say may look completely different.
Hmm. It's going to look
Now you
different.
may start to feel lonely because we don't look the same. I can't connect with you the same.
Right.
We're not going to communicate the same.
Mhm.
So even though you're trying, babe, like I'm trying to get through to you, I'm trying to show you, but
You're
I'm
not
not responding.
you're not guaranteed at that point. I mean, again, I went through that. So I understand very well that
So
side of the
that's the
story
only thing I'm
process.
saying. It's hard to rebuild when you cheat because again, for some people, it will never look the same. It's like some for some couples, they'll stay, but like I told him, it's just like a black and white movie. You're just moving through the motions, and you're like, this is what life is. This is what it is. I'll move through the motions because we put time and effort, we have children.
What
I
about the
don't.
children?
Oh, children feel it. They
I
feel it,
know
they
that.
know, they talk about it, they see it. And again, when it comes to relationships with them, sometimes a lot of that falls into how their relationships look.
Because again, I'm still working on. I've got another video that's coming on the attack on the black woman. Um, but one of the things that was really stuck out to me about that um, was how the woman was isolated, and because of her natural survival skills, that she would groom her children to be able to adapt and survive in the environment in the way that she best knew and understood.
Excellent.
And when you have so many mothers as wives getting to the point to where they feel like my happiness is paramount, and I don't I'm not going to say I don't care because I know she cares, but how this is going to impact the entire family unit is not as important as how I feel about this situation. And it's like I have to make a choice, and everybody else is just going to have to figure out how to cope and deal with it. What does that impact do to the next generation of children?
So that's why, just as we communicate with each other as a couple, we communicate with our family and our children. And you be as honest as possible. This is why we're here. This is what has happened. Now, again, it depends on the age of the children. But usually, if you have older kids, trust. They've seen, felt, they know. Again, they let you, as the two adults, make that decision, but they know.
Yeah, they ain't got
So
no.
again,
Kids, you
you
don't have
you
a choice
you
in that.
you sit and you have those conversations too. And
Yeah.
again, hopefully, both parties again are able to be cordial, respectful, co-parent, and be friends. And just know and understand. Unfortunately, maybe this just was not meant. We went through it, we dealt with it, and maybe it just wasn't meant for us. But hopefully we can again be the best people we can be, parents we can be,
Should
co-parent.
relations have renewal processes? Honestly, we were going to the grocery store and I thought about this because I think we were talking about getting the inspection sticker renewed on a car. And I'm like, are we at a point where relationships need to have an expiration date to where after a certain amount of time we reevaluate whether or not we want to stay in this relationship or not? And that way, people, at least you like, look, I only got to deal with this another 6 months. Once we get to the renewal date, I'm not going to renew the relationship. We're just going to go our separate ways. And that way, I think it would give people a better way to feel more comfortable in their expectations in a period that has an interim,
Well,
instead of
no, because
I didn't got out of this, I can't get out of this till
well,
death
no,
do
because
us
if
part,
if I
and
feel
so I
like
got to
we
do some
only
crazy shit to
well,
get
if I
out.
feel like we only got 6 months left, then why am I still doing, like, what am I still doing again?
Well, I mean, again, because I'm trying to think of an incentive to find a reason why we can get past all of our issues, fight to keep relationships and families together. That's my objective.
I get
And so
it.
if you put that kind of structure around, like, look, the family has to stay together until this period of time, and then once that's done, you've served your time and raising your family, kids are grown, you can get out. Now you can reevaluate or renegotiate whether you want to stay in this relationship or walk away amicably.
Look, people,
I'm just trying to
men and
find
women,
solutions. I want to help.
relationships
They're hard.
tend relationships are hard. They're like a second job. And if people in relationships don't, if the two people don't realize that,
Stop quitting your job.
that's again, that's another thorn that comes with it. Just as you work and you figure things out at your job and you dissect things and break things down and you learn new things, new skills, new perspectives, and you multitask in different things. That's the same thing you have to do in relationships.
Yeah.
People get comfortable over time. People get very laxed over time. people get in their own little ruts over time, forgetting about what is it that we did to get here. Why have we stopped communicating? Why have we stopped dating? Why have we stopped trying to find the things that brought us this brightness in the very beginning, right? The very beginning, like they say, is the honeymoon phase.
Be all
You
over each
will,
other
yeah,
all the
you
time.
will bend over backwards
She should do that thing. You
to,
should do that stuff you like,
and then time passes
and she stops
and it
doing it.
just looks
Only on your birthday and
differently.
holidays.
And it looks
I was just saying
differently.
things change, babe. I was agreeing with
No,
you.
no, no, because you were spearing that at the female. Um, so things look differently. People stop doing what it is.
He gains weight.
Life, children,
He stops shaving.
stressors, finances. A lot of things come into play, and it's like I get it.
He stops being romantic.
But again,
He doesn't take you out on dates anymore.
that's where, kind of from one of our other videos, the 2 + 2 + 2 to me comes into play.
Dope.
If not, then every month, remind yourselves, even if you got to put up a calendar, we having a date night at least twice a month. We're having conversation night at least once a week. We're having our time, right? Because you do have to re-energize yourself.
Or else.
And then when you come back, you're like complete to now hopefully give that other person, because again, if I'm down, if I'm tired, if I'm stressed, giving into that to him would be that behavior or would be those emotions. But to be able to take a step back and re-energize myself when I come to him and I'm energized, then now I'm able to give him more of something that's more positive.
She takes advantage of me then. Okay, all right, real quick, because we're about out of time here. We want to wrap this one up. Today, I got a phone call from you with a funny story. You want to tell the funny story so we can at least give them something to laugh about while we wrap this up?
So I was eating lunch and one of my students came in.
What were you eating for lunch?
He made pork chops and macaroni and cheese. And so he made me a nice lunch to take to work. And so I was eating lunch.
I always make her lunches to go to work.
But it was kind of a working lunch.
I'm a good guy.
He is. He's a good man.
Plus I work from home.
And so I was eating and my student comes in and she sees that I'm eating. And so I realized he gives me 2 pork chops. So I asked my student, hey, would you like one of my pork chops? And I turn around and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, let me find a plate. I'm like, my husband made this. And she was like, oh, ooh, oh. And I'm like, I mean, my boyfriend. And
Switch.
So she's like,
working on it. I hadn't put a ring on it yet, but I'm working on it.
No rings.
Hey, fellas, don't be trying to shoot your shot now. Don't be trying to shoot your shot.
So she's like, oh, did y'all love? You didn't tell me? Or is he? And I'm like, no, I called him, but I thought it was funny. So I call him on the phone. I'm like, babe, me and the student were just talking or whatever. And I call you my husband. And, he said something cute. Yeah, I treat you like my wife and you treat me like your husband.
We already doing marriage.
But I just thought it was cute because how my student responded was so funny. And so
they be
cute.
so protective. But, this little girl, like 86 pounds, soaking wet with rocks in the pocket, and she threatening me like, if you hurt Miss Flo, I'm gonna hurt the woman that I love. Like, that ain't what we doing here. But I thought that was cute. Funny story. It made me smile because at work I'm catching the business right now, y'all. But got to do what you got to do. We're wrapping that up. Please continue to support the channel. Comment, like, subscribe, share this video. Please go ahead and make a love donation to the Cash App. Remember, you can also pre-order the book. We'll put it like this, right there. Right here, the banner. Yeah, you can pre-order the book, The Dating Game, Rewriting the Rules So You Can Win. Just go to the Cash App. It's $13. It's Mr. M. Scott 76. Pre-order the book there. Once you get your $13 receipt, take a picture of that, screenshot it, and send that to brothermarkscott@gmail.com. And I will put you on the list as soon as the book is complete. you will get the first edition, and that will be autographed by yours truly and her as well, because she's actually contributing quite a bit. She doesn't know it yet, but she's gonna get some credit on the book. So, with that being said,
We finished with love.
we always finish with love.
Mwah.
Mwah. Y'all be encouraged, and yeah, let's send some positive energy, prayers, some love out here to the relationships. I hope people can find a way to stay together. Seeing people divorce or break up makes my heart sad, and I want y'all to be encouraged. So
It's about love,
yeah,
peace,
yeah.
and
See,
relationships.
y'all see the logo?
Mwah.
It's all about the love. All about the love. All right, y'all. Take care.